Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Chavez. My name is Sebastian Beckley. I'm the head of finance and fellowships at Rackham Graduate School. I'm also a member of the organizing committee for Beautiful Minds. I have the pleasure. What's up? Whoops. Sorry. I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Michelle Ferris. She's the director of UROP, Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program. Dr. Ferris has over 25 years of professional research assessment experience in higher education institutions, including managing multi-institutional NSF grants and implementation of pipeline, retention, academic professional programs for undergraduate and graduate students. Michelle's primary research interest centers on post-secondary access and success for minorized women and men in STEM fields, the intersectionality of professional and personal identities in STEM, and in its relationship to persistent the culture and climate of learning contexts in STEM, and the role of STEM diversity program in creating educational equity in STEM. She has published in the Journal of Higher Education, Journal of College Student Development, Community College of Journal of Research and Practice, and the Journal of Engineering Education. Dr. Ferris chairs the Council of Undergraduate Research at Large Division and is a co-chair of Scholarship and Practice of Undergraduate Research. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michelle Ferris.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Kathy. Welcome, everyone. I am both honored and excited to briefly talk to you about the University of Michigan Undergraduate Research Opportunity Program, and really having the opportunity to hear from our student presenters. UROP has served as a pillar of student success for almost 38 years, and some of our founding faculty are still here and teaching at the University of Michigan. So thank you. The program is a cross-campus partnership of learners and researchers at the University of Michigan and beyond. UROP provides opportunities for undergraduate students to work on research and creative projects with University of Michigan researchers and community partners in all academic disciplines, allowing students to develop into independent thinkers, scholars, and engaged citizens while developing critical life skills and well-being habits. We have approximately 1,500 undergraduate students at all academic levels per year. And thank you to our research mentors who represent about 1,300 research mentors across all 19 colleges and schools, plus about 36 to 40 community organizations between Ann Arbor and Detroit. So we have students working in community-engaged research on projects in education, public policy, engineering, such as water systems and so forth in Detroit. We really focus on intentional strategies focused on student and mentor engagement, as well as student research training and academic and professional development. We could not do our work without the support and of our extraordinary research mentors. It is always exciting to see what our UROP students work on, and quite honestly, I wish I was a student again. Get to read all the fabulous project descriptions, and I'm just amazed by what our students are able to work on and what our researchers are doing here. It really, really blows my mind. And wished I sort of had that opportunity many years ago when I was an undergraduate student. One of the many research projects that demonstrates and highlights the opportunity for students to explore, and a topic that is important and brings awareness to the campus community, is a collection of projects related to neurodiversity. I won't mention all the projects, but I would like to highlight a few that UROP students have had the opportunity to work on, and you'll hear about today. One is with Dr. Sandy Zalmat, an innovation and technology project that is part of a larger initiative that is geared towards building a neuro-inclusive university environment that considers the needs of neurodivergent communities. It is focused on exploring various support and empowerment pathways for neurodivergent communities, while considering and exploring alternative tools and methods that can help neurodivergent communities grow in their spaces. Another project is with Dr. Melissa Sajowski, looking at access and availability of neurodiversity affirming clinical care. The study expands on their current work, which is focused on increasing access to neurodiversity affirming healthcare services. The project seeks to understand the needs of neurodivergent individuals in primary care settings. And last but not least, I'd also like to acknowledge Dr. Kathleen Ignatowski, a longtime UROP research mentor. Kathy, 25, maybe 30 years? Maybe you founded UROP. Were you part of the? Yeah, long time. And the project is to develop university-wide educational opportunities, training opportunities, mentoring, and partnership programs. In order to achieve this goal, they gather data on challenges and ideas from the University of Michigan neurodivergent community. Ultimately, the research team wants to create a pipeline of U of M members across all groups, typical and atypical, and all career paths to work together and support each other's needs, efforts, career growth, and professional development opportunities at the University of Michigan. And quite honestly, these projects as a whole were organic projects that kind of grew out of conversations based on people's needs. And it's grown over the past year from a small project to something really large, where there are six different areas of focus, which you'll hear about today. It is exciting that UROP students have the opportunity to investigate a topic such as neurodiversity that is oftentimes overlooked and provide spaces for individuals to be supported. Some of the work is focused on bringing awareness, trying to build an environment that's more neuro-inclusive, and really focusing on the shared cognitive experiences that are under the neurodiversity umbrella. Our students have stated that by being involved in this work, they feel they are contributing to something bigger than themselves, and that they are learning and applying skills that not only transfer within the classroom, but in a professional setting and in their own well-being. The opportunity allows students to learn about a field and a topic they have never thought about, and it expands their understanding by fostering a deeper, more nuanced comprehension. UROP's overall goal has always been to provide access and opportunity to engage all U of M students in research, scholarly, and creative inquiry. The more minds and the more lenses you have in research, the better. It can provide more definitive answers when you have different perspectives and not just one lens. And so that's where the value is added. That's where the magic happens. When a group of students who can represent and can reflect on their own experiences, bring their different perspectives, and work interactively so that they can move something more cohesively forward, that's where the real power happens. We need this type of learning for students so they are motivated and prepared to make groundbreaking discoveries that will impact the greatest challenges facing humanity. Today, I look forward hearing from our researchers who are illuminating neurodiversity and who are leading to a deeper understanding and more complete understanding of the topic. So thank you again to our researchers and to our students.
So I'm here to introduce one of the topics that we have. These two and two others who could not be with us this morning are going to talk about policy. And they looked at policy from the federal, state, and local levels all the way down to U of M's policies on neurodivergence, and then looked to see what we may be able to do to make it better for people who are neurodivergent. So I'm introducing Kira Ebby and Ella Freed, and they're going to give you more introduction about themselves.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Kira Eby, and me and Ella, are representing our policy team. So, quick introduction. This is neurodiversity policy in the workplace at both a federal, state, and locally here at University of Michigan. Brief background on me. My name's Kira Eby. I'm a freshman with the intention in majoring in pharmacy. And the reason why I went on to this project myself was I'm interested in healthcare, so the well-being of other people is very important to me, and creating a world where everyone gets an equal opportunity.
Hi everyone, my name is Ella Freed. I am also a freshman here at U of M, and I am considering majoring in psychology or public policy. I am passionate about neurodiversity because I believe that everyone should have access to basic needs like communication and employment, and I believe that everyone deserves to feel like they belong in a community. And what initially sparked my passion was my little brother, who's autistic, and I love him very much. And our project is focused mostly on staff and faculty and policies that exist in that realm because that's where we found the largest gap in existing policies.
So, to give a little background, 1/4 of Americans have a disability, according to the CDC's 2024 infographic census. So, it's very important that these people get seen, since that affects almost everyone. And so that's why at first, we're looking at it at a federal level. So in our federal government, neurodiversity itself isn't a word referenced in its laws. It's nestled under the term disability, which is fine, but those laws are oftentimes very old. The ADA and other laws are not written up to the times today. And the department which enforces the ADA and all these other policies are underfunded and understaffed for the amount of work that they do. For example, the EEOC, which is our Equal Employment Opportunities Commission, and our Department of Education. They handle a lot more stuff that is not relating to just enforcing equal opportunities for all people. Unfortunately, the current administration are not looking into these concerns, so we hope that maybe we can inspire some people with our talk today to kind of advocate for that.
So thank you, I didn't realize this was right in front of me. I'm going to give a brief overview of some of the existing state policies here in Michigan. So there are some disability resources, such as ADA coordinators that people can reach out to for support. And there are resources on the Michigan government websites. However, a lot of the links on these websites are no longer functioning. Under the Department of Civil Rights, there is the Persons with Disabilities Civil Rights Act of 1976, which prohibits discrimination against disabled people in certain areas. In the Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, their primary service is the Michigan Rehabilitation Services, and this has received criticism from some people who have received services from them. For example, one person stated, "They told me to take a shower every day and show up on time, and they would get me an interview at McDonald's. I have a master's degree." And so the Michigan Rehabilitation Services has been criticized for maybe not allowing people to reach their full potential. And the Department of Education, I didn't include that up here just because it focuses solely on students from the policies that we've researched and doesn't have policies that focus on staff or faculty. And under the Department of Health and Human Services, there are many resources for behavioral health and even some specific resources for adults with developmental disabilities. There is also the Michigan Developmental Disabilities Council that was established in 1970. And this consists of 25 governor-appointed individuals who have a personal or professional connection with developmental disabilities. And within this council, They have employment resources, and they advocate primarily based on the 2015 Executive Order Employment First in Michigan, which is intended to help with a transition towards competitive integrated employment. And I met with Brian Calley, the former Lieutenant Governor of Michigan, who is also the current chair of the Autism Alliance of Michigan, and he was the one who signed this executive order. And so I discussed some of the intentions behind this, and this was really to help transition towards this larger national movement of CIE, and which basically means that disabled individuals are working on the same level as and for the same amount of pay as non-disabled individuals. And now there have been some changes since 2015. For example, the percentage of employed disabled adults earning minimum wage or above has increased, although it is still legal in Michigan for disabled adults to be paid a deviated wage. The percentage of employed disabled adults in competitive integrated employment has also increased, while non-competitive integrated employment has decreased. But it's still important to note that according to the National Council on Disability, disabled Americans are employed at less than half the rate and more than twice as likely to live in poverty. And so one of the main findings of this research into the state policy is that there is really a lack of legislation regarding neurodiversity in staff and faculty. And so that is the gap that we identified that requires more research into potential helpful policies.
All right, so what can we do here at U of M, and how's it looking like? Well, it's not great, but it's better than some other stuff. But there's no reference to neurodiversity, the word, in our university's policy guides, unfortunately. Everything from our accommodations to workplace modifications are strictly referenced through the ADA and the Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. That means to get workplace accommodations, you most likely need a diagnosis for these services, which isn't exactly great for people who aren't able to get those due to issues with insurance or just not being able to schedule a meeting with their doctor. So what can we do? So we propose that we can advocate for a better insurance option here at the university offered to our staff and faculty to cover these doctor visits so they can get their diagnoses. We can have fewer restrictions on sensory issues such as earplugs for noisy areas, sunglasses for bright areas. For students, we can have better coordination with the SSD and the TAC for better testing accommodations and to get those accommodations out to our students. In addition to making that process a little more clearer and easy to navigate, especially for those populations. And so thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We'll be taking some questions here, but if you ever have any questions privately for us, this is our emails right there.
And we would also really like to thank our UROP mentors, Kathy Ignatowski, Sandy Zalmut, and Chris Lornick, who have guided us throughout the way, and also our two other student research team members who couldn't be here today, Isabella Oliva and Atlas Etienne, who contributed heavily to this research. So thank you for listening, and we are welcome to answer any questions for the next, 2 minutes.
Is this on? It is. Okay, so before they answer questions, I just also want to tell you that all of our UROP students, or most of the UROP students, have posters at either side, and they will be manning them at lunch, so if you would like to talk to them then too. So does anybody have questions?
Is this on? Yes. I've been tracking the Texas versus Becerra lawsuit, and I wondered if you had encountered it. Part of what they're trying to do is redefine the legal definition of disability as physical disabilities only. And I thought that would, I'm wondering, you were doing the policies, but did you pick up on any of this other kind of context? You mentioned the current administration and some of that stuff. So I just wanted to open up some of that Pandora's box.
Yeah, of course. I was thinking of putting something with, if you haven't heard, there was an executive order to close the Department of Education, which isn't great. I've been following stories like that, and one of the things on my board particularly is we dive in more deep into like the current administration's executive orders could kind of limit neurodiverse research and advocacy, which is not great, but we hope through this research and this conference that we are able to spread information and advocacy to the people. I firmly stand in representing neurodiverse individuals. And I believe as long as there's people like me out there, people like you, I believe we can stand with neurodiversity and continue moving forward despite these restrictions.
Okay, if you have any more questions, they will be at their posters. You guys are good? So the next project is the second project that Chris and I have mentored. Catherine Weir, Robert Loomis, who else is here? Jaden, Sophia Kazara, did I say that right? Probably not. And Jaden Gonzalez and Ellie Ross, they put together a survey that we hope to get out to staff in conjunction with our global partners to understand the needs of our staff here.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So as Kathy just mentioned, we are the survey team here, and we're really just working towards the Neurodiversity Support Needs and Awareness Project team. And so let me see if I can figure this out. Thank you. Okay, so this is our team. We are part of the bigger UROP team, and our team here in front of you, this is the survey team. So just so you can get a little bit more familiarized with all of us, my name is Sophia Cazares. I am a sophomore, and I am a sociology and social work major. And so my personal connection to neurodiversity really stems from my passion for advocacy and supporting the needs of the neurodivergent community. My little sister is neurodivergent, and the process of accessing her accommodations was really the first exposure to the different obstacles that this community faces. And in my own personal work, I feel like the need to get involved in this research was really rooted in the need that the neurodivergent community needs to have more access to support and these resources so that they can fully thrive and succeed in the professional world. All right, hi. Oh. Uh-oh. Maybe we'll swap here. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Weir. I'm also part of the survey team, obviously. I am a sophomore, a biopsychology, cognition, and neuroscience major. And like Sophia, my first introduction to neurodiversity was my younger sister, who's also neurodivergent. We got really lucky. She had a very early diagnosis, so she was in a pre-K program for neurodivergent children. And she was the only girl in a class of about 10. So that right away introduced me to some of these disparities that we see in diagnosis. And the ability to even know that you have these conditions, which is something that we obviously look into here as we're looking at staff and faculty who might not have had that opportunity so many years ago. Additionally, I've worked at an ABA clinic for children with autism. Here I got really great insight into something that Sandy likes to remind us often, which is if you meet one person who is neurodiverse, you have met one person who is neurodiverse. You know, your label is not a full assessment of your character. All of these children were very different, just like all of us are, and they all had, you know, really special, they're wonderful, wonderful to work with. And like has been touched on earlier, the importance of communication was also very apparent to me in this role as these children, you know, arrived at our clinic and maybe had not experienced being heard. They didn't feel like they had been understood. And once we could really communicate with them effectively, whether that was through an AAC device, whether that was through sign language, whether that was through some really basic MANs as I worked with the toddlers, you saw these self-injurious behaviors, these aggressive behaviors all go down. And additionally, right now, I am lucky enough to work in home care for an adult with autism and Down syndrome. And this has really shown me the lack of support coming out of high school as we are looking for programs for these adults with you know, neurodiversity and developmental disabilities, and just these parents who are really looking for options for their children and really trying to put them out in the world. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ellie Ross. I'm currently a sophomore here at the University of Michigan, studying the sociology of health and medicine with a Spanish minor on the pre-medical track. I've always felt that I've had a connection to neurodiversity as my best friend's younger brother is autistic. However, it wasn't until I launched my tennis teaching business, Tennis for Tots, where I was truly exposed to the unique ways that neurodivergent individuals think and learn. And because of this, I became the local director of Acing Autism, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting neurodivergent children through tennis and social interaction. And through doing so, I've really gained a passion for helping individuals thrive in their environments, and this has really shaped my vision for my future medical career. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Robert Loomis, and I'm a sophomore majoring in neuroscience, also on the pre-medical track. And my connection to neurodiversity really stems with the fascination of the brain and cognition, and how the brain can grow and develop over time to produce the diversity that we celebrate here today. I also have an interest in the gut-brain axis and how the brain and the gut microbiome can influence one another and affect neurological functions. And as an aspiring future physician, I hope to help bridge some of those gaps in healthcare by providing better care towards neurodivergent individuals.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jaden Gonzalez. I am a LSA freshman, a biomolecular science major on the pre-pharmacy track. So growing up, I had always had an awareness and understanding of the experiences of neurodivergent people. But in high school, that was when I had my first experience interning with a group that focused on neurodiversity and neurodivergent people. I had the opportunity to shadow ABA therapists as they worked with neurodivergent kids from elementary to about middle school age. And I had the most fun and educational time watching these therapists as they created this safe and comfortable environment for these kids. So when I was applying to a bunch of projects, I came across the Neurodiversity Project, and when I saw their objective of working to make U of M a more inclusive environment, I thought about those kids that I worked with, and I thought about how when they grow up and they go to university or to the workplace, a lack of accessibility and inclusiveness can hinder their lives. And so when I was thinking, I was like, I knew I wanted to be a part of this project because I wanted to help to make second education and and the workforce a more inclusive and accessible place for neurodivergent people. So thank you.
Okay. So we created the survey, like I mentioned earlier. So we're just going to address what this looked like and what questions did we include. So some introduction and definitions. So we felt that it was important to provide in the beginning of our survey a definition of neurodiversity for our respondents, just to provide context with what lens we are focusing through. And we did this by providing a definition and also stating our goal with this survey, which is to investigate the experiences and the needs of the neurodiverse staff members at the University of Michigan with the aim to analyze future responses and make advances to create and maintain an inclusive culture on our campus, so that all people feel welcome in the workforce and in academia, regardless of their ability status. Okay, we're gonna switch again.
And then the types of questions that we included, some very basic demographic stuff. We talked about, what sort of neurodiversity do you have? We also talked about disclosure, because we thought this was a really important thing, looking at staff and faculty. How comfortable are they with their environments? Who do they feel like they can disclose to? Have they disclosed? How did this go over? We also talked about the level of understanding with policies and rights to connect back to our policy team. We had some sorts of AI questions, and then we also talked about spaces for some of our other teams that you will see tomorrow. So that adaptive sports team, with spaces like that help, the gaming team, just really trying to evaluate the needs with a combination of multiple choice questions so we can get some nice graphs, and then also some open-ended questions so we can really get a full view of what people are experiencing.
So our aims with the survey was to provide a comprehensive understanding of the experiences that neurodivergent individuals face here on campus. So by ensuring a representative sample, we can capture diverse perspectives and roles within the university. We seek to understand experiences across different groups of people in order to understand the unique and shared challenges of them. And then a key focus is to identify barriers that may hinder academic, professional, and social success, as well as gaps in services that need to be addressed to create a more inclusive environment. Additionally, we recognize the need for faculty training to ensure instructors are equipped with the knowledge and tools they need to support our neurodivergent individuals effectively. And then finally, we aim to understand social challenges, shedding light on how neurodivergent individuals navigate relationships, campus life, and the workplace interactions.
So the majority of our survey focused on questions specifically related to neurodiversity, but I wanted to include this section on gastrointestinal health so that we could maybe uncover some of those correlations and connections between the two. As we know, the gut-brain axis influences neurological functions. Existing research has shown this in different ways, and so we guided some of these questions based on that existing research in order to hopefully try and build on that. We also used a variety of question types in order to gain a wide breadth of information and data to serve sufficient enough data, providing a cross-reference analysis, hopefully in the future, to uncover those correlations. And there is just an image with the many ways that the brain and the gut can influence one another.
Thank you, Robert. And then after that, after we've integrated all those sorts of questions, we had a round of edits to our first draft, which is really great. And we had people, some of the people in this room editing on that document. So thank you to all of you. We had neurodiverse people, we had the larger team reach out, see if anybody else wanted to include questions that they were curious about when they were investigating their portions of the project. And we also reached out to those working in the field.
So for our expected results, we expect to receive responses discussing how participants view the accessibility at the University of Michigan, and more specifically, how they view the accessibility in their workplace. And we predict that majority of the participants see the University of Michigan as an accommodating environment, but believe that there can be room for improvement in aspects such as the incorporation of more decompression activities, such as movement breaks throughout the day, and more access to digital accessibility tools like online to-do lists and speech-to-text platforms and time management platforms. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
Hello, this is amazing work, and I have not been able to find such information. So I feel like this would be super valuable. I think my question is about how do you plan to share the results to the community, and what is the timeline looking like?
As of right now, we believe the survey will be going out May to June time period. And so once that survey goes out, we can get results and analyze those. We believe that we will create other presentations so we can share the results that we have. So because this is very great research, and so it should be shared, and so people have access to this information and how your fellow people in your community see your community, and so we do plan on sharing that out in any way that we can. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'm a little biased, but I think our students are great. They're doing incredible research and they blow my mind, so thank you guys. And their research kind of gave a great segue into one of the accommodations that people are looking for, and that's digital accessibility and AI. And so our next team is exploring just that area of how do we leverage AI to create better working environments and working spaces, not only for neurodivergent individuals, but also for neurotypicals. So I'd like to invite the next team. So Biela, Kennedy, Mohammed, anybody else from the team here? Jihan, Janet, Sheldon, come on up.
Hello, my name is Biela Gomez. As a biology, health, and society major, I'm passionate about inclusive healthcare and the intersection of technology and mental health, which led me to the Neurodiversity Project. My research explores how AI can improve accessibility for neurodivergent individuals in education and the workplace, maximizing strengths while minimizing challenges. While neurodivergent individuals bring unique, valuable cognitive strengths, they often face barriers due to rigid institutional structures and inadequate accommodations. AI offers solutions such as personalized learning, task management, and adaptive communication tools. But research on its effectiveness and ethical implications on neurodivergent populations remains limited. To address this, I conducted literature review, consulted IT and accessibility experts, and collaborated on a survey with the Higher Education Neurodiversity Network. My findings highlight both AI's potential, such as structured task lists and adaptive communication tools, and its challenges, including bias, privacy concerns, and the risk of over-reliance. Ultimately, my research highlights the importance of user-centered AI that enhances accessibility while respecting neurodivergent autonomy. Moving forward, we aim to develop an AI-powered accessibility tool, possibly within the Healing Blue mental health app, to support neurodivergent users in managing tasks effectively. By continuing this work, we hope to create ethical AI solutions that promote inclusivity in education and beyond. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kennedy Goad, and I joined the Neurodiversity Project because as a future data analyst and technology developer, I am dedicated to ensuring the accessibility of these different technologies, especially AI, that are evolving at an incredible pace, but are often not being designed with neurodivergent individuals in mind. Neurodiverse minds bring unique strengths. like pattern recognition, creative problem solving, and deep focus. Yet many of the AI tools we use every day don't support these strengths and often create more barriers. That's why my research focuses on changing that. At U of M, we have developed surveys and conducted interviews along with deep analysis on how AI can empower, not exclude, neurodivergent individuals. In the future, we plan to integrate an AI tool into the Healing Blue app, which is a mental health app for UMich students. This would help neurodivergent users break tasks down, build personalized game plans for productivity, and assess resources that are often hidden or overlooked. AI won't be inclusive until the way we build, train, and test it changes, until large language models are trained on diverse and representative data sets of all individuals. That's a massive challenge, but it's one I'm passionate about solving. Because accessibility isn't just about making things easier, it's about unlocking potential. And when we design AI with neurodivergent individuals in mind, we don't just make these tools accessible, we make them better for everyone.
Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Okay, so my name is Mohammed Ashraf. I'm an electrical and computer engineering student, and my project focuses on improving accessibility for neurodivergent individuals, specifically those with dyslexia and dyscalculia. Many people, they struggle to find clear information and support, so I created this educational website to help bridge the gap. This website, it first provides its users with the definition of neurodivergence, the definitions of each of these disabilities, their signs or symptoms, their management strategies, resources, and tools, all of which this information is supported by credible sources like PubMed and NHS. As of right now, this website is in downloadable files stored on my local OneDrive, so I hope to publish it soon in the near future. This website, it promotes and supports awareness for neurodivergent individuals. In the near future, again, I hope to publish this website. I hope to expand its content to include more learning disabilities and hopefully integrate it as a part of the University of Michigan to increase its impact. Ultimately, I hope this website's aim is to provide key information and support and hopefully make it more accessible to anyone who needs it. Thank you.
Okay. So my name is Sheldon, and I'm majoring in data science. And the research I worked on was on AI-assisted tools, specifically text-to-speech technology and how it can enhance digital accessibility for dyslexic users. And neurodivergent users, including those with dyslexia, have unique brain differences that affect how they process information. And according to the International Dyslexia Association, about 15 to 20% of the population have dyslexia, some sort of dyslexia, and along with autism, ADHD, they make up 70% of neurodevelopmental diagnosis. And the goal was to evaluate how text-to-speech technology impacts reading comprehension and mind wandering in students with dyslexia compared to those with typical development. So in the research, there was an experiment with two groups, students with dyslexia and students with typical development. And participants completed reading comprehension tasks under two conditions, one with traditional text reading and one with text-to-speech. And in our findings, both groups showed slight improvements in reading scores with the text-to-speech technology. However, those with dyslexia showed a far greater improvement. And additionally, audio narration led to lower eye fixation frequency, meaning it helped sustain attention. And moving forward, we can make more diverse sample size so we can see how it affects people with dyslexia at different levels. And that's all, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Janet. I'm majoring math and stats. I chose the topic for the AI tools improve the ADHD child learning. The reason why I chose this topic is that many children with ADHD also have at least one type of the learning disorders, such as reading, calculation. But current support methods are inefficient for people who combine with the ADHD and learning disorder. Compare the current intervention methods, and I studied how ADHD and learning disorder impact with each other. Then I explored the AI applications such as the machine learning, natural language processing. According to the function of the AI, I find that AI can provide a personalized learning support by analyze the behavior, cognition, and the sociological data, and then they will give children with real-time feedback, which can help people to change their strategy to teach these ADHD children. So, which can help people to improve the treatment and the study efficiency. It is worthwhile for future research to develop an ADHD application and AI tools and ensure the accessibility for all communities. Thank you. Any questions for like each poster?
Remember, if you want a closer look at them, they are around the hall.
I don't have a question, but to the student who is developing a website, it would be really great if you could start like a sign-up sheet for people that want an email when your website is out. I would love to be on that list. So thank you for all the work that all of you are doing. This is very important.